Hello and welcome back to the Google APIs for Rust and YouTube Uploader development stream. It's Byron speaking, and we are still working on issue 74, which is quite a big one because it deals with authentication. And the changes actually ripple through everything. Like we have to touch Google oauth to make this work, and I think this is where I was working on last. Sorry, I'm still kind of changing my microphone setup once again. I have to get used to that. It should provide, well, not better sound, but it's a bit more comfortable for me maybe. And yeah, let's see how that goes. Still the first day with the setup, and so far I'm quite pleased with the results. That's something I must say. Good. So where was I? Does that even compile? I think it does. Oh yeah, trying YouTube, right? Because if the authentication token needs a refresh, then we had this kind of weird error message. And oh yeah, now I know where I was. Loop. So here somewhere there's a new loop that we now have to handle. So in these two cases we will return, which is at least the intended outcome. And I think I will now have to do this explicitly because, oh no, actually I don't. Yeah, because we do return automatically. Whatever comes out of this match we will return. That's good. But we can also continue, and I think that's what I did. And this should compile. That was just the test I want to make. I think that actually does compile. Yeah. And before I forget, I think I should also put this to 5 because whatever happens, it will be a new release. All right. Good. So let's tell the delegate. If delegate token storage failure just takes the error here. And then we can match on retry. What do we do, by the way? If there's an error, then we say, if we say retry skip, yeah, actually that's the return value now. So if you say retry skip, we say it's okay, but we didn't get anything. So that's kind of the behavior that we get up here. Oh no, wait. Whoa, sorry, wait. What's this? This, oh yeah, right, this returns an optional. Sorry, I was getting that and that totally wrong. So anyway, actually there's nothing we do here, right? I think I want to adjust this as well. Oh shit, I can't actually return an error value because it's parameterized and I don't have this. Oh wait, I actually can. I am able to because I can use the parameter on the token storage here and make this part of the result type. That's good. Yeah, I think what happens is, that was also my question, if that token thing fails, then I can't really tell what happened. And this should change now. This really should change. Yeah, first of all, yeah, let's implement it so that it works with the current signature. That's the first thing. And then we adjust the signature as we see fit. I would also like to test this together with the YouTube CLI that we have there, because by now the authentication token should be invalidated already and we need a refresh. All right, think hard, think fast. None. Okay, if we skip it, we return none for now. Later, this will be something else. So I keep this as separate cases. If we should abort, we right now can only return none as well. This should soon be okay none. This should soon be, that should soon be the error value here that we actually get. Right now, as you can see, we have to ignore this. And retry, what is this? After some duration, let me say sleep for the given duration and continue. Yeah, I was just eyeballing this one just to see there is an internal loop that it uses here until refresh token actually works. And I might consider putting that internal loop now that we have an outer loop, you know. We could try to use that one instead. Why shouldn't I continue and then... Well, no, actually not, because we are trying to... What are we trying to do? We're trying to get a... Yeah, we get a token from the storage, then we try to refresh that one. We try as often as necessary. Yeah, that's actually the right thing to do. No change required. But I shall continue here. Yep. And that should kind of take this branch out of the equation, and the other remaining branches, they will return something. And that should still compile. So, nice, it does. No warning. Good, that does work. And now I just wanted to clarify that I see this correctly, because that's kind of the main function here of the authenticator. And we use it in Google APIs, RS. There is a mbuild, and I think that uses the token method at some point. And here, missing token. See, all it can say is missing token because it doesn't know anything. And in future, it will be able to at least derive a string or even a debug string because it knows the actual type of the issue, which is based on the token storage right now. Is this the right thing to do, by the way? Yeah, and anyway, this thing here, it's in API CMN. Resolves to didn't obtain authentication token from authenticator. Right. And this was kind of the unhelpful message that we got previously, even though in fact, this is what I debugged through debug oauth. Even though in fact it was something very else, you know. We did a wrong refresh request there because it was missing the scopes. And that's the point. There's something I don't want. Okay, now I have to rebuild everything, unfortunately. But anyway, that's how it is. And I really want the actual error to come through. And I think the problem is, let's go back to oauth, that right now the only error we are able to return, actually that's no problem. Yeah, we will have to recompile this a lot more, so I will not even wait for this. So what we actually have to do, oh yeah, and I shouldn't change this before we actually are starting to compile CLI. Otherwise this will be kind of weird. I'm just looking at this and I wonder, okay, so it tries to do this apparently, and then I was just thinking, why does it say CLI here? It's building the API. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, here we have to decide what kind of result we want to return. So first of all, there should be a result, right? And let's see, the delegate gets some information. Refresh result refused. Error. But it's not even an error that we get, is it? Or is it? That's an HTTP error here, and that's nothing we get. Is success. And success, it is not either. What's this kind of error? Connection error. Yeah, so this is something we do not get. I think the error is totally lost. So T is expired. Then we do the refresh flow. We try to refresh it, which doesn't work because the scopes are missing. We get a response, which is not an HTTP result. It's not refused. How does it say? How does it think it's refused? Let's see how this is implemented. Refused. If JSON, okay, I see. So if it's an error, then we place the error there. That's good. But this is something that was, look, it wasn't even told to the delegate here. well, even though we have this information, I think because denied token storage, well, I can't provide that information. Okay, let's do this. I don't know why I sometimes am lazy. Refused has at least a string. Can it have more? Can it have the HTTP response? Maybe? No, wait. What we do is we decode the error and provide the description res error. JSON error. Yeah, maybe we want to provide more, huh? So if we manage to actually decode this, oh, we just have a string. Oh, look. Awesome. Error description. So I think we also want to have the error description here, which is optional, but we shall provide it. Invalid request. Yeah, I definitely want that. Come on, give me the error description. Error description, which shall be a string, and I will make it an optional. Oh, just to be sure that this really works. I am wondering what's going on. Well, actually what I'm wondering is the error description, it might not be provided, but the error is kind of common. What I'm wondering is, do I have some JSON error somewhere else already? Because it looks like I could use this many times. Refresh. No, I think the point, look at that. Look at that. So here I have it as well. See, is what I mean. REST-C decodable. Multiple times, kind of the same thing. What if I make it as optional? Is it using the error description? Yeah, so I think I want to put this into common. This one here. JSON error. This is my own. I will not put it out into the public. So this is optional. I think back in the days I didn't even know that this is working like that you can make things optional and then they don't have to be there. I mean, when it comes to JSON encoding, decoding, I just didn't know. So this is why I had two versions of this. One contained an error description, the other one didn't. So here I get from common, I get my JSON error now. So I don't need to do that here anymore. And I decode it, fine. And this shall be error description unwrap or no description provided. Like that. And that, the option types, result types, they're so practical. I love them by now. I couldn't do without them anymore. Yeah, let's put this here. A bit better, still breaking, but good enough. So same we do here from common import JSON error. Then we have this here. It's exactly okay. Did I remove this already? Apparently I did. Good. So here we have the JSON error. Okay, if we have a JSON decode error, we totally fail. That's good. Otherwise, we say refused, and now it's getting interesting because we can say, yeah, so that's a string. So this stuff wants to be owned, right? We have to pass it back. But we have an optional string already, so we might either keep this optional part alive or break. Let's keep it. If we would say, yeah, we always have two strings, and we say that one of the strings is an option that we basically default with something that nobody needs, then we can as well say, well, it's an option from server message. Where do I get that? Yeah, so this is supposed to be an optional string, right? Why do I break it down? description. Invalid scope. All right, invalid client. That's how I do it. Break it down even further. I try to pre-filter it. Maybe everything else should be. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's do it like that. It's fine. No. The description. I don't know if there is a description all the time. I have no idea. That's my problem right now. I would love to make this an optional string, which is what it is. Okay, so invalid scope. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, let's keep it what it is, as long as possible. That's what I'm saying. And we can pass ownership. Should we pass ownership? From server message, we have the result. It's owned by us. We can pass it on. We can. Yeah, so let's give him ownership then. From server message. And yeah, I will unwrap this thing here. So let's make this in an optional string. We will return, we will keep it, and we say unwrap or no description provided. Sure, and we have to put it into it's a string now. We have to make sure this is a string when it gets there. So it's kind of some extra work that we would do here. But I also think it's okay to do that. So we can maybe put this into the next line. And I don't say this is pretty, but it's better than having a line break there. Maybe like this. Yeah, like this seems to be feasible. Okay. So now it's still getting its string, invalid scope, but we are kind of more or closer to the actual types that we see here. More true to ourselves. So now we can pass the description directly and don't need to do that anymore. And of course, we pass ownership. This might not work because we borrow something and we kind of move partial ownership there. And I will just see if that works or not. You know, I have no idea, to be honest. I shall find out. And one little problem I have, because gravity is pulling the microphone down a tiny bit constantly, right? So yeah, something I have to figure out at some point. I think it's still good enough. Still better than ever. No doubt about it. Okay. So here, okay, so let's undo this for now. Because that should still work. Let's do one thing after the other. Oh, see, JSON error is private. Okay, I don't have to re-export it. That's the point. So that needs to be pub, but I think I'm re-exporting everything from common that should be out there. Oh yeah, true. These things are private. Previously I didn't care because this was defined in the function and then it's public to the function or to the enclosing scope. That's a cool thing. Okay, so that worked. Nice. It's very good that this worked. I like it. And here we say we have an optional string. So we can pass on res.this description, which is error description, like that. And this debugging mode is very, very useful. I mean, awesome. Like it. I don't know what this stuff is, though. Huh. Chunked. Oh, it's probably because of the chunking, and this is interpreted by hyper, and I don't ever see this. Fair enough. Good. Yeah, it's really pulling it down. I have to adjust my microphone. Is this ever going to stay the way it's supposed to stay? I do hope so. Oh, sorry for that. I will find out. It looks stable. but it actually is not. You know, this is what you get if you at some point don't get something more expensive. I think I paid like 30 euros for this microphone stand, and it looks decent. It feels decent, but I think you have to pay 50 and up to have super steady ones that don't move all the time. But yeah, maybe my microphone is too heavy too, but I think eventually it will kind of figure itself out somehow, you know, then it will just be the way it can stay. All right, so that could work. Oh yeah, their variant helper. And this is kind of why I found this, right? I realized that for some reason I don't even tell it what happened. And I wonder why. So that's the error. String, description. So yeah, question, what do we return in this case? True, I didn't even put this in here. If it's refused, we get information about why it's refused, and we don't really care about anything else. So I think we should return the previous approach was to tell the delegate what happened, and it would have to figure it out so that we can just return an optional token. And as we didn't implement the delegate yet for our command line interfaces, we don't have a way to kind of show a nice message there. On the other hand, doing it with the delegate, you know, as I said, I don't really want to degenerate information that should be made available on the API side. Having a delegate is cool and stuff, but you know, yeah, so denied. Let's give it all the stuff we have. Why not? So we have an error, which is a string. I think it's even a string. Yeah, I can just pass it on like this. It's fine. And we have an error description, which is an optional string. I really want to, you know, I pass on what there is to know, and it's an optional string like that. Good. And we have to do it like this, otherwise the compiler will warn that we actually didn't use it, which is also annoying. What did I do last time? I think I kind of fake used it. Let this be error. Let this. Does this work? Then this stuff is unused. Yeah. I think if I have two separate scopes, I can use it twice. This should fix my compiler warnings there. All right. True. So again, what do we want to return? I think I want to return the actual... Well, that's a token storage error. What's the most dominant error that can happen here? We have a refresh result, which can be some error. It can be denied. So that's handled by the delegate. That's okay. Denied will now get the error string, which is... What is this again? Refused, which is a string. So we pass it on as borrow, though, a slice. And the error description, which we extract and pass on as owned value, as reference to an owned value. Do we? Do I? Oh wait, sorry, that was the wrong one. Focus. Actually, you can own it, you know. I don't care. Actually, you can... Come on, take it. You have it. I don't mind. I don't need that stuff there. Oh, look. So here I call denied multiple times. Access denied. Poor result. This is why it doesn't have anything, because it started out poll token. It started out in that realm, and now we have more. So maybe it's two different functions. Refused. Huh. Refresh, refused. No, refresh, it's actually not refused. It's some error, right? Refresh error. It's not necessarily refused. Something went wrong. We extract the information and show what it is. Refresh error. Do we have refused elsewhere? Not here. So it should probably show up. Okay, so that is now refresh error. Yeah, so that stuff I think I can pass on. Let's go back to denied. Denied access during denied access during, well, in general, yeah. Okay, so let's copy this and roll that back to what it was. So that just still works. So that's denied. And then we have called if we could not acquire a refresh token for a reason specified, possibly specified by the server, will be, yeah, this call is made for the delegates information only. It's crazy. This microphone has lost like 5 centimeters of height already. Yeah, I will just wait it out and see when it doesn't move down anymore, and then I move it up on in another way basically, and then it should be fine. So awesome. Let's make this a bit shorter here, like that. Okay, so that should actually be working. Refresh failed. Token refresh failed. Token storage failure. Token refresh failed. I think that's decent. Yeah, makes sense. So denied, that's okay. Can I take this out? I think I can take this out. Token refresh failed, error string, error description. You have it. Have fun with the stuff. And that is it. True. Still, I couldn't make myself actually put in what I want to put in here. So again, this means that as a result, we possibly have an error which indicates a token error. Or until the data is reading this. In any failure case, the return token will be none. Well, in any failure case, the delegate will be provided with additional information. Delegate will be provided with additional information. And the caller will be informed about storage related errors. I think otherwise it is guaranteed to be a valid token for the given scopes. Okay, that is it. Now we have token storage error, right? Oh no, wait, it's actually s.error. Let's see if that is the truth. All right, now we only, now we return some t, now we return, if we return stuff, we always return a token. So it's now OKT. OT, what's OT? OT, match flow type, retrieve device token. So that's an optional. Okay, this is exhaustive just because I have just one device flow. One flow implemented, retrieve device token. Where's retrieve device token implemented? In helper. Okay. This returns an optional token. Okay, here again, we degenerate information possibly. We might have to change that at some point, but with care. I really don't want to, I had my reason to do this in the first place, and a little bit I will, be happy, or, well, trust myself there. Access granted, poll results. So that's I think that's all right, because all the stuff that can go wrong is handled mostly server communication. So that's fine. But of course, if this, I want to assign it, I want to set it, and if it's something, I want to return it. Otherwise, what happens otherwise? What if I don't get anything? What if I don't get a token here? Wait. Okay, we get an entirely new token. So if I don't get a token here, what's the error then? So token storage error is something that I could do here. By the way, I want to see how this works with the must use thing. Because must use, I think they renamed it. Wow, my microphone is going down even further. Crazy. Yeah, it's really supposed to be light, huh? Like super light. Yeah, sorry, it really goes away. I will have to adjust. Oh wait, I have to adjust this stuff now. Huh. Weird. Oh. Gravity. Crazy. It wears on the stuff, with the same force. It doesn't get tired of doing so. And thus, stuff just moves down. Yeah. Okay. That's still... yeah. Okay, I will now move the entire thing up. Then it will work. When I have to send this back, I don't want to keep it. So Good. Maybe that holds now. It's at least on the right height now. That's awesome. Totally on the right height, maybe even a bit too high. No, actually it's quite right. Okay. But it will go down anyway, so I guess I'm fine. So the must use stuff, I didn't figure that out yet, how to do that myself. Oh man, I find this difficult, dealing with types correctly here. With the error handling correctly, because I don't want to degenerate, but I can't possibly return all. The delegate takes a few things. Really I think it's about experience here. You have to try it in order to know how it's supposed to be done. After all. So this is something I want to check. So this is something I can actually return. The thing is, we can have a token and fail to put it to storage. This totally works. And if that happens, we ask the delegate, right? So, that's an optional error, right? So, if let sum error be this, then we will ask the delegate. How can we? Oh yeah, token storage error, right? Set storage set. Here we also have to check for it. Yeah, so it's always kind of the same code there. So we match on the delegate's results, self delegate token storage failure. Does it get the actual error? No, it gets this. Do I call this elsewhere? I think I do. Yeah, when it's about handling the get, which could possibly fail as well. So anyway, so if we skip it, then we will just actually keep going and return, yeah, we just ignore this. There's an empty case. I don't know what to say here in these cases. Retry. If we want to continue, then we can retry. So the set stuff needs to be in a loop. Oh yeah. So this allows us to break out of here. That's good. So here's what we want to do. We want to loop. Over each set, we now have to loop, basically. Doesn't make it easier. The code, I mean, but. So retry abort. Abort actually means that we should discard the token that we have retrieved. Even though I would really like to not do that because we possibly have a token. Which also means that the skip might be something we don't want to handle, because right now we kind of always do the same thing, unless we say, okay, we should abort, we ignore the token that we have retrieved. And this is a bad thing, I think. It shouldn't be done. But on the other hand, if we can't store it, we can, let's ignore it. That's how it's supposed to be done then. So that's then would be an error, but I don't have this error type, right? So again, we need to make this an optional. There's no other way. I don't see another way anyway. And this return none also doesn't work. This return also doesn't work. So we have a connection error and we should abort. Yeah, we need to have an optional here. And we can now return the... Yeah, so basically, that's the question to answer. Previously, I said the delegate will handle these errors, and right now we pass them on, at least. Yeah, what do I return here? So here I forcefully return none, which is an okay none when we are done. So anyway, I said that the delegate takes all the errors and will make sense of it. Okay. No. But now we said, well, we want to provide additional information. And in the case of when the token just can't be returned, the only additional information we actually provide is, well, what happens if we have no token? This is what the previous error was. So the only additional information we really have here is if there is a storage failure. Yeah, I think that's what happens here. And considering that if we abort, and there, here we have a storage failure, this error is an storage error, then we will return this at least. That's the least thing I can do. Like that. Okay, and retry after shall be a continue after we sleep for the given duration. Okay, so and here we have an optional, and then we can just return, okay, whatever that is, we return it. That's an optional now, which also means that I should put the optional here. And this is it. So now let's check the return values again. So if it's a connection error, then it's an okay with none because we can't specify that kind of error. And the delegate learned about it anyway, so it's okay. Same thing here, we can't specify that. So it's return no token. No token for us. The only thing we can, and that's something I kind of dislike. I would be fine with returning, I could return a boxed error here. Then I can pass on, the trait and its dynamic dispatch going on, but I also don't have to know the actual type. And then it would work for everything. I could just stuff it in and I'm done. That would be awesome. And that would be the right way to do, I think, because then I do not discard anything. And now's the time, is it? It is the time. So let's do that then. Let's do it. Let's just do it. So here it's fine. Here where there is this token storage, because here I just have one error type that can be returned, at least one that we support. On the other hand, we could also move this to the boxed error in order to keep it the way it's supposed to be kept. Oh, that's an API decision. I'm not sure. It's uncommon to return boxed errors. Oh, it's very uncommon. I've never seen this anywhere. Which doesn't mean it's bad. But I have many different errors that can, damn it. I will not use a boxed error. I don't like the heap stuff that's involved in that by default, if there is an error. Even if this doesn't matter in a performance way. So connections error, we at least let the delegate know. So that's something. Pardon. Okay, none. And then we set. So here we have to do well, look at this. Here we have an actual token already. We return as some token and okay. Then the case where we don't get anything from storage, but also don't have an error, then we try to get something new. There's also something we by now handled property. All right. And we try to set it until we can't set it anymore. And then we return it which is this thing is an optional as well. Okay, fine. This might be yup oauth2 at some point. I mean the version 2. In the moment we realize we want to provide more errors, more detailed errors. And I think we already provide more errors than many other APIs anyway, which might show that we are overboard with errors. On the other hand, we might also do something exceptionally well. Who knows? And yeah, I think I could start compiling this. Let's see about that. Because, okay, that's the return value here. And skip will be token search. Okay, token search failure. Failure, pass it on. So we should skip it. We should, okay, what's the deal here? Skip means, yeah, we couldn't get anything. Skip means we abort after could be 0. So this continue is the only case that I'm interested in. Abort means I return the error, I think, like that. And skip means we return an OK with a none. So then we just basically ignore this error. Yeah, I think that's what this means. If I have to think what this means while writing it, what do people, including myself, think when one tries to use that stuff? So the token here will now be more, more difficult, that's for sure. More difficult to use. Previously it was really easy because you didn't have to care about much, actually. And I'm still asking, am I solely interested in knowing about storage-related errors? Is this the most important part here? Is this the reason that I use this more difficult data structure? And I don't know. Okay, let's try to compile this. Let's see how this goes. Method token has an incompatible type for trait option. Oh, yeah. I didn't change the actual. Oh. Get token for authenticator. Look, it returns an option only. And it doesn't have access to additional types. And now if you ask me if I want to put this authenticator delegate error in there, then I say no, I don't. But what I might want to be doing then is to put a box in there. A box of an error. I think that's something I would do. Yeah, let's do that then. That's fine. Unusual, but makes this work and solves the problem of having two specific errors. Man. Yeah. This microphone is still coming down. It's crazy. But eventually it can't come down further. I hope. And this is when I will be victorious. Victorious over gravity. Option token. What is this? This is a box of an error. Like that. And I should have it here, right? I do. Okay. So that's what we return now. Now let's update this one. Just this. That's the cool thing. And now when we return an error here, we have to box it. And that's all we have to do. And we can also review other kinds of errors and, return them too. So in case where we do OK none, we could consider returning an error. Unless, skip is a statement, that's something the user wants, that's okay. But in the other cases, Anyway, for now, error, box new, let's put it in. Take ownership, thank you. And that is that. There's nothing more about it. No, that is that. And where will we turn here? Okay, none. Oh, and another issue is... Yeah, quick question. Why do I have to dereference this? Refresh token. Because the result is kind of stored internally. Okay, fair enough. So I can't even rip this stuff out. Okay, so I have to clone things if I want to clone things. So what I want to do here is, I guess I want to say refresh error. Do I want to return this? Do I want to provide this? I think I want to do that now. Which also means that possibly this token doesn't need to be optional anymore. But let's see. In theory, I can return all the errors as they come in. Refresh result. Sure, I have to take a ref here. And I can clone the error. That's awesome. So I can say connection error. Yeah, I pass it on its own copy. So I need another copy here. Fair enough. So that is now an error of a box new error clone. There we go. That is that. And here you want to return an error. Token refresh failed. Yeah, well, right, we pass on the information. Yeah, I might have to review the delegate API now that I'm at it as well. Man. Actually, I've read this on Amazon that one guy said that this microphone stand keeps, or the microphone keeps coming down. It doesn't stay where it's supposed to be. And I hope that this will eventually fix itself. Okay, token refresh failed. We pass it on to the delegate and we shall return an error none. Did I just add this? Yeah, I just added this. So it's a box of a refresh result. Refresh error, and that's 2 strings, right? And how does that work? Refresh error, string and optional string. I can't rip it out of here, and right now I'm ripping these things out. This should not even compile. Maybe I didn't compile in a long time, huh? Yeah. That must be a ref. That must be cloned. And now I might actually be happier with passing references to that stuff. Here you go. Here you go. Same thing for you. Saves me some cloning action. Like that. It is absolutely incredible. Okay, sorry, I have to adjust my microphone again. How come? Crazy. Wow, it's coming down even further. No way. Yeah. This isn't really what I wanted. But I think I can figure it out eventually. No. I shall figure this out. So now it's way too high because it came down such a long way, but Yeah, let's see how long it is that high. Kind of in my face and occludes my vision, which is, I guess, a bad thing. But anyway, let's just keep going. And see where I was. Damn it, all these changes. I don't like it, too many changes at once. But that should be fine now, here in this case. Yeah, that's it. Token refresh failed. Good. And then we provide the error, rebuild the refresh error, and provide it with its own copies of string and description. Yeah. Like that. Good. So the next, where's okay, none. So here we get okay, none back. So this means there's just nothing that we can do. And then here, in the skip case, we just ignore the fact that we couldn't store it and use the token anyway. Here we take the token out, the error out, and return it. And that is that. Good. So that's always after a set. And then I shall try to compile. And here, token storage failure. Self error. All right. Token storage failure, that's the right thing. So here, in the case of skip, right? I want to return... Wait. So is this what I want in this case? So I'm trying to get something, but don't. And... Okay, I think that's the right thing, yeah. And I tell it to just ignore that and pretend that nothing was in storage. In the abort case, I want to return the error. Otherwise, I try again. Okay, good. So that's how this goes. That could possibly compile to some extent, at least. Trade error is not implemented for type hyper. Oh man, for real? Come on. Refresh result. Okay, I'm guilty as well, but still. So error means you need display as well as debug. And I think, every good error, especially in hyper, should have this. So I'm willing to implement this. I'm totally willing to implement this. So yeah, I think it's an hour already. So I didn't really get much further here, but I'm closing in. So yeah, and also just a 1 hour left, kind of. So I think the next hour I will do this. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll be back very soon just to finish this up, hopefully.